you're just like a wealth of knowledge. It's just amazing listening to you
Thank
speak
you.
about
Thank
this.
you.
I could listen for hours. Okay. Wow. So, and with the training academy,
Yeah.
that's where a lot of this knowledge came from, or is this just what
So
you've
the
been
Hypnosis
drawn
Training Academy is my like I spent I've been doing this now full time for 23 years now, I think.
to?
And before that, I mean, I did my very first hypnosis course in 1992, 3, something like that, right? So
Wow.
this is going
Okay.
back a long, long time, right? Um, and about like 2007, 2008, roughly around that sort of period, I got together with my now business partner, and we created the forerunner of the Hypnosis Training Academy, which now became the Hypnosis Training Academy, to teach people my approach to hypnosis. And the reason I was wanting to do that is partly because at the time getting good information about hypnosis is very hard, right? Hypnosis has always been somewhat stigmatized with more mystical practices. I have nothing wrong and against mystical practices, but what can come with that is poor thinking, right? People accept things, incredible things like, that's amazing, so inspiring. But when you sit back a little bit and say, wait a second, these are still human beings. I can't make you fly just because you believe you can fly, right? And no matter how much belief I give you that you can fly, will shield you when you're jumping off a tall building. That's a bad idea, regardless of which way we go with this, right? Anyway, coming back to the training academy. I'd spend by this stage about 100 grand. I spent 5 years flying around the world to find the best hypnotists I could get my hands on to learn from them. And interestingly, I came across theories that are diametrically opposed. Like they're literally saying this thing doesn't work, and then this guy comes up and does it, and it works. I'm going like, how does that, right? So
Right.
this freed me from dogma. I wasn't stuck on a particular school. What I'm looking for is principles, because when you look at principles, then you can see how these two clashing approaches are actually doing the exact same thing under the hood. It's just the cosmetics that are changing, right?
Right.
And that's what I wanted the Hypnosis Training Academy to be about. A place where you can make these skills simple, they're fun to learn, they're really, really fun to learn, in an engaging environment with other like-minded people, and fundamentally, with focus on the principles that make this stuff work. My biggest joy in life is when I watch my students go out there and create a style of hypnosis all of their own I've never seen before. It's wonderful, right? Like one of my students is a firearms instructor up in Arizona, and he uses hypnosis to get people to shoot one-hole groups, like put all the bullets for the same hole within an hour of first touching a handgun.
Right.
It's amazing, right? I would never even thought of that being possible, yet he's doing it, right? So I am excited when I see my students graduate beyond the techniques I'm teaching them, because the techniques are only there to illustrate a principle. Once you internalize the principle, you can let go of the vehicle, which is the technique, and then you are free to invent your own technique. And my senior graduates, I can't even call them students anymore because they're just way too good for that, right? So my most senior graduates, they make up a unique technique for every client that they see. They have when a client says, "Can you do help with this?" You sure, come on in, let's deal with this. And if you ask them 5 minutes before they go into the meeting with that client, what are you going to do? The answer is always the same. I don't know. I'm going to find out when I talk to this person. Because one of the ways we train people to do this in, and the reason for this is because it's so nerve-wracking seeing a client and wanting to help them, but I have no idea how to help them, right? So we train people in a particular way where you basically to have a chat with them ahead of time using conversation hypnosis that then starts dropping sort of unconscious moments you can pick up on. And eventually, somewhere in maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, somewhere in that conversation, all the training, all the skills you've had suddenly just pop up and say, oh, I know exactly what to do. And it's exhilarating. It's like an exciting feeling you get. We said, oh, I know how to deal with this. Finally, I know how to deal with this. And that is a much, much better way to approach a client than terrified, which is what I was my first few clients. I was like, what do I do now? This isn't working. What can I pull out of the bag now? Oh, this is so frustrating, right?
Yeah.
That's a horrible way to work, right? I just did my best technique and it failed flat out. What the hell do I do now, right? It is a phenomenally frustrating place to be, but that's because I was trapped by technique.
Right.
As soon as I learned to look under the hood at the principles, oh my God, it's such a liberating experience, because it doesn't matter what happens in the moment. It's just an opportunity for another principle to be activated. So what if you are rejecting one particular principle, right? I make it work another way, and then make a different offer, and you go, oh, that's exactly it. Now you're cooking with gas, right? I could
Right.
never know that ahead of time. So I could spend weeks planning the most perfect session, and it would fail utterly.
Mm-hmm.
Or I can come in clean with a clear mind and just talk to you and let your unconscious mind tell me what you need from me. And once
Yes.
it's done enough of that, I know that your unconscious mind has talked to me enough, because I get this really excited feeling in my body that tells me, oh, I know this is gonna be so good. This is gonna be so
Yeah.
good. I get excited. Does
Yeah.
that make sense? And that's the thing I want my students to pick up on the most. That's what the Hypnosis Training Academy is about. We have thousands of hours of training and courses and all kinds of stuff you can do, and they're all fun. Don't get me wrong, but
Mm-hmm.
ultimately, it's all useless unless you
Mm-hmm.
can apply it. And that's what I want
Okay.
to do. Make it simple and easy to apply. So your conscious mind is never overloaded. It's just enjoying the show. And in a way, we train in a way that like when you talk to someone else's conscious mind, you're just keeping each other's conscious minds busy until your unconscious mind both get to agree on how you're going to resolve this issue, and then you just do it.
Yeah.
Does that kind of
I
make sense?
like that. Yeah.